The grass is longer than it was before. What's your name? I don't know. I didn't. They didn't either. We just said it in the same way, you know? In the way they speak, like we said, so... My name is... They told you? Yes, that's right. What's yours? I said I wasn't sure. Well then. I said that was fine, I'd be happy to tell him. He said he'd like to know my name. Well then, his name was... I couldn't say it, because it's not a name. He was just the first of many. There were hundreds of others. Hundreds and thousands of other names. All of them were just as good as my last name, or better if I'm being honest. They also said they could see into my mind. That's what I thought they were, a telepathy machine. A device that allowed them to see inside my head. To see my thoughts, my memories, even my dreams. My thoughts and my emotions. So when I had a bad day, my brain would send them out to me to say, "You have a problem. You have to solve it." And they would come back to the person who asked them, telling him that his mind was not his own, that he was the product of a mind that has been manipulated by a person, that the mind is a product. Like a child, if you don't solve a kid's problem, he'll solve yours. He'll make it worse. I was told that my parents had to go to a place in the sky. Not far from where they were, they told each other to another place. That place was in another galaxy, in a galaxy that had no sun, no moon, just a star. A bright one that shone in its own light, shining in my eyes. What's the difference, I asked, because I didn't know. I was taken to that place, in that star, in that other galaxy, my mind. A place where there was no light, where there were no stars. There were only people who lived there. No one was alive there, not even me or the people I'd been forced to live with. A few of them had been there for centuries, living in fear of being killed by the other inhabitants. Others, like me, and the ones they brought with them from Earth, hadn't been born. We were all born in the same place, and they had no idea how to tell us apart. There were no names, no language, only a set number. No names for us. So I told them I knew. I told my mother. She was shocked, stunned, terrified. My father was horrified. How did I know? They said it had happened. He had been in there, the other place that day, when he had gone out to play with his friend, who was now my age. A kid who would grow up to become one of my closest friends. We'd play, we'd do things. I'd never met a Rudy before. Not in my life. Rudy was my friend. My friend who I had never had a chance to know. Who had no idea what I did, what I'd become, so I had a choice. Either I became a monster, or I went to him. Or both. My parents didn't have a clue, which was why they tried so hard to keep me from going. There was one more option. One of them could go with me to this other galaxy and find out. To find my dad. My parents were in this galaxy when they found me there, and my mother had told my grandfather that it had happened. His mind had become my own. Now I knew why they didn't have the name. Why they couldn't have a name. The next day I woke up in my cell, still in chains, chained to my bed, chained to the floor, unable to move. No one came to see me until it started to rain, at which point they came in droves, all wearing rain gear, some with umbrellas, others carrying umbilical cords. One of them was my Uncle John, a man who would go on to become a famous scientist and a Nobel Prize winner. His name was John. John had come to visit me that morning. There was something else too, John said. A voice. What is it? What is that voice? I thought he meant a voice that spoke to my mom and dad, a different voice, one that was somehow different. Something that wasn't human. Then I realized it wasn't a question. I just had a feeling. Like I had heard a sound. There were many sounds all at once. A sound like a bell or a door, something that had no meaning. All of these sounds were the sound of someone calling my name, of me calling out for my friends, for help even. So I asked why, and they had no idea. "We have to tell you something," said the bureaucraty as he walked me to his office. His office was on the 3rd floor, and on the wall was an enormous map of space. There were many different planets, each with a name that began with one letter. One was called Earth, another was Mars, a third was Venus, then the fourth was Jupiter. Jupiter was also called the Sun. So I went from Earth to Jupiter to Venus to Mars to Saturn to Uranus to Neptune to Pluto. I didn't. I never did. Ever. All wearing rain gear, some with umbrellas, others carrying umbilical cords. Fuck. "We have to tell you something," said the bureaucraty. God damn it!